I purchased this saw brand new. I started bringing it to work. I know people are hounding me about not using my own equipment at work and stuff, but I mean, come on, does any mechanic just use the tools that are at work? No. If you're a professional tradesman, I feel like generally you kind of maintain and have your own tools. It's kind of how it works. But I work for an employee-owned, air quote, company, and they want to maintain this sort of communal thing. But I can tell you, after 2 years, a communal chainsaw is like a community bicycle. It is going to ride like crap. And the last thing I want when I've climbed up 70 feet into a red oak is to have a chainsaw that runs like crap and be trying to mess with starting it and drop starting it with the trigger on and no chain brake on. And I just don't want to welcome that kind of energy into my life. I don't need any more of those complications. So for $600, this saw is a great option. It's really the best power to weight ratio of a saw that you're going to ever want to take into a tree with you. It's really great for those bucket jobs too, when you don't want to haul an extra 5 or 10 pounds in and out of the scabbard 200 times, in a day. So this saw is like, it's 40% bigger engine capacity volume, but it's only 20% heavier than that saw. And that's pretty cool, I think. I put a narrow curve chain on. Got 18-inch bar. It fits a 20, but the 18 is kind of the middle of the road. The only thing I've really changed is I put in a nylon mesh air filter. Because I had noticed this type of air filter on the smaller trim saws, this 355T, and I went to the sink with some Dawn soap and cleaned my air filter, and I thought, gosh, that's the way to operate. So I found, it looks like it needs to be cleaned too, but it's no big deal. The seal on this air intake leaks a little bit. As you can see, some dirt on the inside there. So some people said you can wrap some Teflon tape. Looks like I need to revisit that. And now I'm replacing this gasket on the oil cap. That is all I've done to the saw, besides put a narrow curve chain on. And it has performed miraculously in a tree for me. A lot of the work we do with this saw would be done with something that's literally 4 pounds heavier at my job, a Stihl 362. And so this is a nice size saw, because you can, if you just got to go up and make a few cuts for like a pruning job, it'll still work. And I've removed 3 red oaks, pretty large size, with this saw. I've done it on a rope, I've done it from a crane ball, and I've done it from a bucket. And every single time, I'm able to brush out the entire tree with 1 tank of fuel in this saw. I find that, like, when you're doing those really kind of artsy-fartsy critical cuts where you're trying to steer logs, you're trying to like make them fall in a certain way and pop off the tree, I find this saw, I just have way more like precision and control over, those little fine back cut you do, where you need to cut the back cut just enough at just the right time. I feel like this thing's a little more precise. It's not slowing you down as much as a trim saw could.